The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. With over 17,000 markets and extended trading hours, turn US earnings season volatility into opportunity. Get started at IG.com.
All right, stock of the day. I thought we'd take a look at Premier Investments. Premier Investments' latest trading update for the full year 2024 is out this morning. Shows that global retail sales hit $1.6 billion on adjusted earnings of $341 million. Company's full year report due on September 26. Separately, Managing Director of Premier Investments retailer Smiggle has been terminated from his role after engaging, the company says, in serious misconduct. Cheston had previously been named Visa Chief Executive from mid next year, but we'll go a bit earlier. Markets have traded Premier Investments down almost 5% on the back of today's update. Mathan, what did you think of the update and also Premier Investments at the moment?
Oh, look, Solly is one of the best, and he knows how to play the cycle, and he knows what the market wants to hear. There's always distraction plays that comes through with Solly, so you got to always look between the lines. Look, the overall thematic for the sector is tough. I mean, I don't remember a REA chief ever coming out and saying, I want to see 5% of the property on the market.
Yep.
You know, that doesn't happen often. So that is just where we are in the cycle. We've held it for too long, and you know, they basically said, you know, we either do this or we go for recession. So it's a tough call that they're putting out there. So I suspect what we've already seen in slowing consumer spending, that's going to play out. The retail sector is just in two categories. The good guys are, and I'm not talking about the actual business, the good guys in retail are doing really well, and the rest are at the bottom. And I think the cycle will catch up to everyone. Premier is one of the better ones. It will hold up really well, but it's cyclical. It's a retailer. As good as he is and as diversified as he does have in his business model, it will all see some slowdown. So the market gets too excited. It's, you know, the old adage is you buy retail when interest rates are going up, you sell retail when interest rates are going down because you're not spending enough. So the theory here is, you know, long-term investors, if you got in cheap, it's a hold, it's a high-quality business. But if you're trading the multiples and you're trading the cycles, this is a sell. Okay.
So you'd be selling at the moment. Scott, what about you on Premier?
This is a really tough one. Mathan's done a wonderful job of summarising the business itself. Solly Lou is the best in the business. One of the few retailers who's going to close down stores that don't make any money in this kind of, you know, cult of growth. Investors want to see more stores, more same-store sales growth, all that kind of stuff. Solly, who owns a large chunk of the business, says, I'm not going to do stuff. It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to close these things down. So the kind of, that's an interesting way to watch the REIT space too, by the way, because physical retail is going to be really, really important over the next 4 or 5 years. Back to Premier itself, it's a difficult one because it's in the middle of this takeover/merger deal where Premier as a business may not exist, or well, probably won't exist in the current form in the not too distant future. Selling its apparel brands to Myer, taking some shares as a result of that. Solly gets some of those shares. The Breville holding, of course, is separate, and then you've got Smiggle and Peter Alexander that are the two standout retailers in that space that potentially may be traded as individual companies or one combined kind of Uber retailer. So it's trying to work out all of that stuff and unpick it all in the context of today's numbers is really, really difficult. We should say that the growth and the success of Smiggle and Peter Alexander is probably the biggest unknown here. It may well be that the apparel brands go to Myer at a reasonable price. Certainly the sales update won't help that because sales are down on some of the biggest brands, a bit flat on a couple of others, but not a good picture when you're trying to merge into Myer. Myer itself probably also, by the way, having similar problems. So really, really difficult. It's a hold for us. We've held it for ages and ages. Really great quality retailer. Fascinating to see how this all gets broken up. But if you are going to buy it now, probably the reason not to buy it, I suppose, is it's going to be the corporate activity that determines the final value here, not the businesses themselves. What price the apparel brands go to Myer, how the Breville shareholding is taken care of, and then what price Smiggle and Peter Alexander trade at, what multiple they trade at as standalone businesses. So many unknowns. I would suspect the risk is probably not as big as the potential reward. I suspect that when Peter Alexander and Smiggle trade post this slowdown, as Mathan's already talked about, they may well command higher multiples than the combined business. So I wouldn't rule out making some money at today's price. But there's so much uncertainty there. We don't know what's going to happen with those transactions. It's a hold for us.
Yeah. Mathan, look, the bloke's 80. You know, he's been the best retailer.
Yeah.
You get the sense that this is moving away from an operating retail company to an investment company, an LIC, don't you? Because Solly's going, I've run all these companies for years. Mark McGuinness, who used to run Premier Investments, has gone to Brett Blunding, basically, who is the new retail guru, heir apparent to Solly, basically, and running his family office, so running Lavisa and overseeing it in Brett's view. So Premier's just changing completely, isn't it?
Well,
I get the sense,
yeah.
you know, the bloke's put in the hard yards.
No,
and
I
he's
mean, no
going,
doubts.
Oh,
No
what a
doubts.
simpler life.
Yeah, no doubts, but I don't think so. I know too many guys in too many industries, their life, the blood is the business model, right? It makes them wake up. I know it's tough, and, you know, I spent a whole day at Bunnings on the weekend, and I am knackered. But it's worthwhile doing. It's, you know, it was my son's club and charity work. So you kind of look at it and go, if I'm motivated, I'm going to go at it. I don't think Solly Lou is going to turn around and suddenly go, you know, I'll be at the top end. I'll let the other guys deal with it, because he wants control. Yeah. He has never sold out of any of the big businesses that he likes.
Okay.
He never does. And if you think about it, who makes most amount of money when the big families with the big businesses like the Media Play, like the Westfields, like the Murdochs, it's the guys who make the money in all these kind of transactions. It's the family. It's not it's not the shareholder. So I would not think that he's going to give up control. I think he's trying to position it in a way that he can have control without having to day-to-day manage.
Oh, yeah. No. That's
so he would want control to the nth degree. I don't think he's going to give up much.
He wants to be a player, but what's your view, Scott? Because I just think he doesn't want to be involved in running businesses anymore, just invest in them.
This does feel to me like the end game, I've got to say. Not entirely, but it's a slimming down of the portfolio, right? He gets rid of the apparel brands to Myer. By the way, Solly gets some Myer shares and may still have one more trick up his sleeve. The Myer board,
that's coming.
While
That
they
is
want to do
coming.
this deal for their own sake, have to be looking over their shoulder and thinking, gee, Solly's just got big in the rearview mirror all of a sudden. So we'll see how that goes. But look, just something I do agree with you a little bit, Koshy. I think the Spiegel and Peter Alexander separate out. It makes it a less complex business to run after Solly decides to hang up the boots. To Mathan's point, I imagine they might have to take him out of the box. I don't think he's going to give up anytime soon. But it does feel like, and again, famous last words, it does feel like the last big corporate move for Solly. It's this one and then maybe done or done-ish. By the way, Warren Buffett's still at work at 94, so don't rule Solly out just yet. I suspect this is kind of the cleanup of what was Premier Investments into some more discrete units that may or may not stand on their own 2 feet. So I don't think he's finished. But I do think this is probably the end game approaching, where he's dividing and splitting and realising value where he can, just to make the whole thing a bit better moving forward.
Becoming more of an investor than an operator. All right, that's our stock of the day, Premier Investments.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.